So think about this. You take a four-time NBA All-Star, a guy known for hitting massive shots, for being the leader of a franchise, and you drop him on a new continent. You'd expect him to just dominate, right? But what happens when that new court feels like a completely different planet? Let's get into it.
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? Why do some of these absolute legends of the game get to Europe and suddenly look, well, human? This is a story that goes way beyond just talent. It really gets to the core philosophy of basketball itself.
We're going to look at the journeys of a few former NBA mainstays, but we're really going to zero in on one story in particular. Because this player's adventure in Europe, man, it tells you everything you need to know about the clash between the two giants of the basketball world, the NBA and the EuroLeague.
All right, so first things first, let's set the scene. Having NBA guys move to the EuroLeague isn't exactly new, but this past season, it felt like a real trend, a major shift.
10. That's how many players made the direct jump from spending years in the NBA to playing in the EuroLeague just this season. And we're not talking about guys who washed out. These are established veterans looking for a new chapter. And that brings us to our main man.
The story of Kemba Walker in Europe is it's fascinating. It really makes you stop and rethink what makes a player great. And to get why he struggled, you first have to remember just how unbelievably good he was in his prime. I mean, in the NBA, Kemba Walker was electric. He was the face of the Charlotte Hornets, a multiple-time All-Star. He was the guy you gave the ball to when the game was on the line. Simple as that. His entire game was built on this incredible handle, a killer first step, and the total freedom to create magic one-on-one. He was, in every sense of the word, a star.
So you can imagine the hype, right? When he signs with AS Monaco, which is a powerhouse in the EuroLeague, everyone expected him to come in and just light the league on fire. I mean, the thinking was pretty simple. A player with his resume, he's going to dominate. But the reality turned out to be a little different.
From his very first moments on that EuroLeague court, it was just obvious. This was not the NBA. The welcome he got wasn't a red carpet, it was more like a trial by fire. Just listen to the commentary here. That phrase, welcomes Kemba Walker to the EuroLeague, was said right after he got met with some serious physicality at the rim. It wasn't just a welcome, it was a message. This is how we play here. It's tougher, more compact, and way more aggressive. And it wasn't just the players on the court. The whole atmosphere is a different beast. The arenas are absolutely packed, the fans are on you from the second you walk out, and the pressure is just relentless. This isn't just a game, it's a massive event, and he was thrown right into the middle of it.
But here's what's so cool about Kemba. You see his reaction here? Even with all the struggles and the hostile crowds, he loved it. He totally embraced the passion. But even that couldn't fix the fundamental problem. His game was built for one basketball world, and he was now playing in a completely different one.
Okay, so let's break that clash down. Why didn't it click? Well, the answer is in the deep, almost philosophical differences in how basketball is played on either side of the Atlantic. And this right here lays it all out perfectly. The NBA is all about space, pace, and individual brilliance. One-on-one matchups are king. The EuroLeague, though, it's a chess match. It's all about executing team systems, playing tough, organized defense, and fitting into a very specific structure. For a guy like Kemba, whose genius is in his improvisation, that's a massive adjustment.
And he didn't just walk into any system. He walked into Coach Sasha Obradovich's system at Monaco. And this style demands total discipline. Every single action is planned, every movement has a purpose, and you have to make split-second decisions inside that framework. There is very, very little room to go off script.
So here it is, the absolute heart of the issue. Kemba's greatest strength, his unpredictability, became his biggest weakness. The system needed him to be predictable, to make the right read within the play call, and that hesitation led to late decisions, bad shots that weren't part of the offense, and, well, a spot on the bench.
And you really can't forget the mental side of this, which might be the biggest piece of the puzzle. Imagine going from being the guy the entire team is built around to just another player in the rotation, accepting a smaller role, getting fewer touches. That's a huge psychological hurdle.
But here's the thing, Kemba's story isn't the whole story. To really get what it takes to make it, you have to look at the other NBA vets who made the same exact leap, because their experiences show that the key isn't just talent, it's something else.
I mean, just look at this breakdown. While Kemba was clashing with the system, you had other vets who found a way to thrive. Serge Ibaka totally embraced being a veteran leader for his team. Jabari Parker,
Another guy whose NBA career was hit by injuries became a go-to scorer for Barcelona. And Kendrick Nunn? He became an absolute superstar for his team, leading them right to the top of the league.
This quote from Serge Ibaka, man, it says everything, doesn't it? He came to Europe wanting to contribute, not necessarily to be the star. He just wanted to play, to be part of the team, and to adapt his game to whatever they needed. That mindset, that's the secret sauce.
And that's really the bottom line here. The success or failure of an NBA star in Europe isn't a report card on their talent. It's a test of their ability to adapt to a new system, a new role, and a totally different way of playing basketball.
So, let's pull back for a second. What does all of this mean for the future of global basketball? Because this flow of talent across the ocean, it's not just a one-way street. It's more like a conversation between two very different basketball cultures.
You know, it's easy to look at Kemba Walker's time in Europe and just call it a failure. But it really wasn't. It was an education for all of us. It showed just how unique and demanding both the NBA and the EuroLeague truly are. It proved that being elite in one of those worlds doesn't guarantee you'll be elite in the other. It takes way more than just skill. It takes a willingness to learn a whole new basketball language.
And that leaves us with this one big question to chew on. As more and more players move in both directions, bringing their own styles and experiences with them, are we starting to see these two worlds merge? Or will they always stay beautifully, compellingly different? That's a question that's going to define basketball for years to come.